guest
Linda.
Linda from. Linda,
Y'all
where are
listen
you?
to
Can Linda hear us?
Yes, you can.
yes.
You know what? You're
I'm from
kind of
Galveston,
weaving in and out.
Texas.
Is she from Texas?
Galveston,
Okay.
Texas. Yeah. So she's joining us out of Texas.
Texas
So,
in the house.
Linda, welcome. We're so glad to have you with us. And we're just going to talk about real life stuff.
Yes.
We're going to talk about real life lessons, the value of life lessons, which is so important because you know what? Most people spend all their lives fighting their lessons, hating on their lessons, without understanding life lessons are designed to give us something we need, provide us with something that we need. And so I think that the primary focus of our show today is to help you understand that you have to learn your lesson. What is that lesson trying to teach you? Because I always say you learn the lesson, you earn the blessing.
That is true.
And that's so important. So we're going to start, Linda, we're going to start with you. What are some life lessons that have helped to enrich your life?
Just in general, with the flow, don't expect anything. Just roll with the punches, so to speak. And it's taught me a lot of breathe and keep going and know that take it one day at a time was the best. We're all in this together and we all trying to make it.
Oh, absolutely. I so agree with you. And you know what? When we choose to make it together, we stand a much better chance.
It's harder to break.
It's harder to break us when we are united in one. And you know, one of the things I keep telling people is that I'm all about diversity. You know, all kinds of diversity because people teach us. We learn stuff from each other. You know, this culture, that culture, this color, that color. We learn from one another important things that help us to elevate the quality of our lives. You know, otherwise we kind of stay on or like a standstill. We're stifled. Onika, share some life lessons that have helped to enrich your life.
Well, I grew up in the Caribbean. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, so
See, diversity.
my life lessons is from my granny. She always taught us to make sure females, I know you can't say that 'cause a lot of people get mad when you sit, pick and choose certain things, should know how to cook and clean. So from the age of 6 years old, I know to cook. I would go in the yard, catch the chicken. I would pluck the feathers, do all the stuff. I could season, I could cut up chicken. And when I came to America, Dad followed me through. But I was living with my mom, so I could have cooked from a very young age. So when it comes to the kitchen and cleaning, I learned that from young, and that stuck with me.
The basics.
The basics.
Yeah.
So a lot of females don't really have the basics. They figure, females don't need to be in the kitchen. It's all it's a 50-50 chance, but most of the time, that's what a female job is supposed to be in the kitchen, cooking, cleaning. Because
first of all, you got to take care of yourself.
You got to take care of the kids too, if you got kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't afford to go eat outside all the time the way how the economy is.
Right.
You'll be broke. And all the natural nutrients and everything you're not getting from a lot of fast food stuff. So by you cooking and doing everything yourself and preparing meals is a nice way, and that lesson I learned from a very young age.
Absolutely, and I think that's so important. I always tell people, I post a lot of my meals on Facebook, and people are like, "Oh my God, you're such an awesome cook." But my father was a chef, and I've been cooking since I was 10 years old. Whenever he was cooking, I would stand at the stove. I wanted to know how to do that, and then I started experimenting. On Saturday, I went to the farmer's market. I got all kinds of vegetables and stuff, and I got some eggplants, some little baby eggplants. Tomorrow, I'm going to make chili cheese eggplant boats.
Oh.
And I mean, nobody told me that. Once you learn, you begin to experiment, and that experimentation helps take you to the next level. And if you cook food, I rarely cook my food the same way every time. There's some change in it that adds diversity to it and adds maybe a different flavor. So it's always interesting, always tasty. How about you, Carmen?
Exactly. I agree with you, Nika. The same thing with me. When I was 9, 10 years old, my grandmother was the one, because my mom had to work, to teach me, pull me into the kitchen and teach me cook, to clean. And she said, this is something that we have to learn to do, regardless of the times.
That is true.
Absolutely, because we have babies. And so who gonna cook for the babies once they get big enough, and and then some people can't go to the store and buy baby food. So you have to cook something, maybe blend it up, mash it up good so the baby can eat it once the baby can eat regular food. And if we don't do it, who's gonna do it? There's certain responsibilities I think that we have as women, and caregiving is one of them.
Yeah.
And that caregiving begins with our families. And I think when we learn to care for our families, we learn how to care for one another.
That is true.
And so
Start from young.
Oh,
in the house.
absolutely.
Lesson taught.
Absolutely. I know I kind of wrote down a few life lessons I learned that I want to share with everyone. And one of the life lessons is the more you do for people, the less they do for themselves.
That is true.
Yes.
The more you do for people, the less they do for themselves. And then you end up doing everything that's their
And
responsibility.
become a burden on you.
Absolutely.
instead of you helping.
It's exhausting. It can be absolutely exhausting, frustrating, depressing, so you have to know. And I have a dear friend, and I said to her, because she is such a caregiver, I said, you have to learn. I said, and I'm telling you this because I had to learn it. You have to learn to set boundaries for everybody else and limitations for yourself. When I learned the word no and learned how to use it regularly, it changed the whole scope of my life, because the more you say yes, the more people dump on you. And it's so important that we
And expect from you.
and get pissed off if you don't do it.
When I hadn't, exactly, I'm glad you said that. I had a neighbor too that I was helping. She didn't have a car. But until she got her car, I helped her save money. So I would take her to work. Her job was 12 to 8.
And she was doing this every morning
Yes, I was.
at 4:00 in the morning.
Yes, I was.
I wish somebody would come and ask me to take them 2 hours away to work at 4:00 in the morning. But you see, Carmen is such a caregiver and such a sweetheart that, she will do whatever she can, but you got to learn to set boundaries for other people and limitations for yourself. Otherwise, people wear you down, wear you out. You looking up from a hospital bed wondering how the hell you got there.
That is true.
So you guys want to share, Linda, you want to share another life lesson that has enriched your life?
Yes. I think about lost my mom when I was 21,
Mm-hmm.
and the lesson it taught me is grief, and we're going to mourn, but we have to remember what they instilled in us and keep that hearts and keep going, because she didn't get a chance to see her, and the lesson that taught me is don't take anyone for granted, and also make time, because I lost her at an early age because she had to retire from people to replace her at her job.
Mm.
And the doctor her to retire because she was going to have a nervous breakdown and everything, like to work hard, but don't do more than what you're supposed to do. And because she overdid things, just like you was talking about, doing this and doing this to a routine, you forget about yourself. So you have to put yourself in the equation. It's okay. That's what you do as a mother, but also make time for yourself as well.
Oh, absolutely, Linda. I mean, quality time for self is very important. And we were not taught as young women to take care of ourselves. We were taught to take care of everybody else. And so that was instilled into our brains and right down to the core of our souls. So we spent many years, I know I have, taking care of everybody else. Yeah. Now, I think deep down, I believe that if I took care of everybody else,
It will take care of you when you get a little older.
well, no.
That's what I
No.
Yeah.
I somehow thought that if I taking care of the people, I would automatically be taking care of. God would take care of me. Things would work out for me. You know what I'm saying? But you know what how the saying goes, God helps those who help themselves.
Right.
So if you're not helping yourself, then why should God step in and do anything to help you? You won't even understand or appreciate it probably. So I think that we need to understand as women just how important we are to the world. And just think, if we didn't have babies, this society wouldn't exist. Human life wouldn't exist.
We were built.
We were built to be the givers of life. But there is a limitation to how much we give. And I think for me, I'm an empath. So empaths automatically, we just do. We love people and we want to do it. We want to see people happy and we want the world to be this wonderful place. But the reality is, not everybody is like us.
Nope.
If you're an empath, not everybody is like us. And some people will use you, especially if you allow a narcissist to get hold to you. And you don't understand that you have to set limits for yourself and boundaries for them, and preferably stay away from them because they will do everything they can to suck you dry. Because that's who they are. They're not about other people. They're totally about themselves.
That is true.
And so that's a lesson I didn't learn until, I learned I was an empath in my late 40s. I was hired to close out the Women's Center at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And one woman came in to get her files, and we just started I talk to everybody. I have a girlfriend, so I can make a lamppost talk to me, So, and we just started talking. We sat down and talked. There was nobody else in there. And she said to me, "You're an empath." I'm like, "A what?" I had never heard the term before. So she kind of filled me in a little bit. And then I went to the computer, put it in. I started doing my own research. You know what? There's a saying, know yourself, know thyself. And the more we know about ourselves, and this is a life lesson that will add much value to us, the more we know about ourselves, the better off we are. And so once I understood, and then I started studying about empaths. I even have 2 empathic pages on Facebook, so that whenever I identify other empaths, I add them to the group, and I said, learn about yourself. Learn what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you can do, what you shouldn't do, so that you can live a better quality of life. And see, that's what we're supposed to. That's another love. I do something called love lessons. And LOVE stands for life of victory and excellence. How do we live a love life that provides us with a life of victory and excellence? We keep learning. We keep growing. I'll be 69 in January. I'm constantly learning and growing. I'm always looking around. I listen to people. When we talk, I listen to them. That's how I get to know them. Another life lesson. Listen to people. You will get people tell you who they are.
Just listen.
Just
My
listen.
grandmother used to say that all the time.
Yeah, people will tell you who they are. They'll even show you who they are. Pay attention. I do a lot of looking and a lot of listening because I want to know about the people in my life. It's not all about me. It's about we. And when we learn what works for each other and learn who each other are and the experiences that have shaped who we are, it takes us to a whole new level in terms of our interaction with each other and having a relationship that we value.
And our own growth.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I love I that's why I talk to everybody, talk to anybody. When we first moved here, my daughter hated to go to Walmart with me because she'd always find me in an aisle with a bunch of people around me. Because I'm just talking to people. People will stop me and we'll have a conversation, then more people will join in and blah, blah, blah. That's how we learn. But you know what I've learned? That with everything that has gone on in life over the last 3 years in particular, people have become mean-spirited. But being mean-spirited comes from fear.
Yes and no. For the simple fact, a lot of people being mean is just a shield.
Oh, absolutely.
So I wouldn't say fear. It's like I don't got time for it. So I'm just gonna let you see this is the side of me. You don't got time to meet the nice me because my spirit already connect with your spirit and your spirit is dirty. Oh my goodness. So I'm putting up that right there. It's not everybody is mean. Like I would take for myself. A lot of people think I'm mean, but I'm not really mean. I go by spirit. If my spirit say, Onika, yeah, they okay. But then don't get that twisted because in the flip of a switch, my heart is black. And I look at you like, damn, why didn't I see that? Because I always try to see the best in everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
But a lot of times, a lot of people don't listen to the spirit.
Oh,
and that's a life lesson too.
Yes, it is.
You have to listen to your inner self.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I tell people I go between the spirit realm and the physical realm every day. I spend time in the spiritual realm because that's where I get the wisdom I need to come back and function well in the physical realm. So, but a lot of people are afraid of the spirit. They think that it's witchcraft and voodoo and all of these. No, first of all, we are spirit beings.
That is true.
Who are encased inside a human body. But just think, spirit floats lightly all about. If we didn't have these bodies, we'd be floating and bumping into each other. It's just pure energy. But the bodies allow us to stay grounded and to have an experience in life that's different from the spirit experiences. So we got to learn that both are essential to live in the quality of life that we really want. You want to say something?
Well, a lot of people don't understand that because it's scary.
Yeah, it is scary.
Because for some people, we're gonna go on like different. People might think I'm crazy if I'm saying certain things. They're like, oh, she crazy. First thing the doctors and stuff want to do is put you on drugs.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
To calm you down, but they don't understand. It's like, because y'all not seeing what I'm seeing, y'all label me differently. So a lot of people at the time, back to the means thing, I'm putting that up because you're not seeing what I'm seeing. So it's really red when it comes to spirituality. A lot of people just say, well, I'm spiritual, or I'm the C word, the other one. I don't want to, because that's a touchy feeling topic for some people.
Right.
They don't understand it. Everything around us works on spirit. The tree got a spirit. The world got a spirit.
Everything has a spirit.
And a lot of people don't know when y'all is not grounded. We wear shoes. Our ancestors never wear shoes. That's how we ground. You walk barefooted.
Feel the energy of the earth.
The energy that we have.
A connection with the earth.
But however, we will more quicker attach ourselves to negative energy because it makes us feel a certain type of way.
Well, I think that negative energy, we have been taught.
That is true.
We have been conditioned out of our spirit reality and into the physical reality. But you need the spirit reality in order to live well and to enjoy. I tell people, you know what? I don't have a lot of money. Right now, I think I'm negative at the bank. But guess what? Money is not the basis for my happiness or my peace of mind. And when you can find and experience and enhance your state of mind and your happiness from the core of your soul, nothing that happens outside of us will negatively affect us. We see it, we understand it, and we move out of its way, and we keep moving on because we're here. So we have a choice with respect to how we choose to live our lives.
A lot of people don't know what happiness is.
Absolutely.
A lot of people think by having name brand stuff or
Things.
that makes them happy, and
Materials.
still you're not happy
Material.
within the self.
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, your spirit is not balanced. It's all go back in what life lesson have you learned? Like, because history have a way, life have a way of repeating itself. And a lot of time we miss that lesson. And it will come right back, but might be in a little different form, but it's the same exact stuff. Are we really paying attention? Or are we just living? Most people just live.
Yeah. But no,
Because they don't
most people
know.
are just existing.
That's true, rephrase.
That
is
let's
true.
rephrase.
Yes.
They're existing.
They're
They don't
existing.
quite know
How
what
to-
living really is.
That is true.
And unless there's a balance between the spirit you and the physical you, you have not a clue what the process of living requires and how wonderful it really is without things, without money, just being one with yourself and the universe and Mother Nature and God. Because I tell people, we please stop looking up in the sky for God. God is everywhere. I look within myself for God. So when I want to talk to God, when I want to commune with the Spirit of God, and I tell people, God is not a physical being. God is a spiritual being. So that spirit energy of God is with us all the time. But you got to know how to connect to that spirit energy. Tap into it and allow it to guide you.
Mhm.
And I tell people, if spirit energy tells you to go kill somebody, that's not the spirit of God. Okay? Now, God may stop you, like in the Bible. What was the name of the character? Abraham, his brother, his sons were
Yes.
gonna. Okay, God didn't tell one of them to go kill the other. That was the dark energy talking to him. It was God who stopped him. It was God who stopped him from killing his son or whatever. Sometimes I don't remember the whole story, but you got to understand that life is predicated on spiritual wisdom. And once you develop that spiritual wisdom, you are going to be able to take yourself and your life and even help others to get to a very comfortable and stable place. Life has to be balanced. It has to be balanced. Linda, I know you're still with us, and I want you to share some of the things that you think people really need to understand with respect to that spiritual connection that I know you have.
As far as spiritual, there's all types of ways to get it. The Bible, there's different stuff, but when it's taught, when some people was taught and some people were not, inner spirit in you and allow God to move you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with, because sometimes you feel bad vibes. And when I was taught from God and bad comes from the devil. And that's pretty much it is, because it's dark that is the devil. We say good energy and light is from God. So what I do is I try other people's position and do good to them. I might not can do a lot of things for a lot of people for them. I'll let them know that I care and I'm there for them.
Right.
And then there's it's something simple to me. It's like, when I go to the beach for a walk, I see it makes me happy. The simple things. If you enjoy the simple things, the bigger things even enjoy it even more, because you have to have that balance. And like you was talking about, balance is the key. You're going to have complications in life, and you're going to have to deal with things. It's how you deal with it out on your side, and that good energy, you can make it through anything.
Oh, absolutely. I so agree.
Out of it, and puts you in the place where you need to be, to realize, okay, lesson learned, got it. Now somebody will come across that needs to hear what I've been through.
Absolutely. And how you got through it, because, there are a lot of people searching for answers, but they don't know where to find the answers. They don't even know where to look sometimes.
That is true because we go back to society. You have, let's say, someone is searching for answers and you put it, they don't know who to trust because they don't know if this person is going to make fun of me. I might tell them what's going on, and then the whole world and the congregation knows about the problem,
Mm-hmm.
or are you trying to help me?
Or like I had once happened to me. I told my life story, and she went and said, "Oh, she's just doing it because she wants pity. She wants people to feel sorry for her," and that was furthest from the truth.
Hello.
Or you hear, it happened to everyone.
Yeah.
Use
Or,
not-
or get over it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes. So I don't know. It's like really shaky because the people you look to help, most of the time, they don't really help. They probably just polish it. But the problem is still there. Like, how we gonna move forward if we don't know, and or to recognize, okay, this is a lesson. If he's not taught the right way to recognize certain things coming our way,
Right, right.
it's really hard because I would say I grew up in best of both worlds, America and Trinidad. Um, I grew up in Trinidad. I learned a lot of my life skills from Trinidad. I came here. It was different. It was more survival world to me,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, to
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
Everything was cool. My mom's make sure we didn't live a certain lifestyle, but it's just to see how people operate. To me, it was like a survival world because in the Caribbean, when I was there, it was like all about love, family, family. When I came to America now, it was not about families, but we gotta work. What you bring in, this is what it is,
Mhm.
and it was like everything divided. So I grew up in both the best of both worlds, so it's kind of different that I look at life different from someone who just grew up in America and they see certain things, and I understand, but then again, I don't understand because most of my childhood life was in the Caribbean, so we have a different upbringing, a different mindset.
But you know what? You have something more than a lot of people do because at least you're able to teach that to your kids, both worlds, and that emerges them and say, well, now you know what? This is something, two different lessons that you could take from and merge them and be a better um, generation. So their lessons,
Mm-hmm.
they'll reflect upon, okay, so my parents taught me this, I'm going to do this to make it better.
That's true. Like I know this is another touchy topic, slavery. Within the Caribbean, we don't dwell on a lot of stuff about slaves.
Mhm.
We let it go. We do certain things. But when I came to America, it was like, oh my goodness, this is what's going on, and our history is a little different from young. It's a little different,
Mhm.
but it's just like a lot, and it's more a touchy topic up here than the Caribbean.
Mhm.
We did this. No, we're not gonna do all this. Is what we're gonna do. We're gonna move forward. We're gonna build.
Absolutely.
It's a little different. So I've been seeing a lot on social media. I'd be like, damn, I can't relate. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, I'm black, but I really can't relate to a lot of the things because I look like in our history book is take like we talk about Toussaint from Haiti who came with the Revolution War, and he spoke, he spoke to some of I guess Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and he overthrown whatever was going on in Haiti.
Mhm.
And in my head it's like, oh damn, what's the difference was with the American slave, and why is it that Haiti was so bold to overthrow that we had more people? So it's kind of
I know. You know
a
what?
difference. So
Yeah.
certain things that we just let go. It's not dwelling. It's in the past. It is what it is. We're not going to make history repeat itself. We got to move forward. But up here in America, we dwell on a lot of stuff in slavery, a lot of pain, and understand we want money, and we didn't get no money in the Caribbean, like a bunch of money and stuff. What we did, we took the little skills we had, farming, and we went on and do certain things. I'm not saying all Americans like that. I don't want nobody come on my social media page for my neck because I'm petty, so don't do it. So it's just different. And I read a lot of books, and I look at the life lessons from the Caribbean and the American.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, damn, we're a little different. Yeah, we black. Yeah, we came, as everybody say, yeah, I came from the same slave ship. Yes, I understand. But it's just more, like, we don't care. It happened in the past. It's hard to explain.
But
I
you see,
get it,
those
but
are
you
the
don't.
lessons that you're saying right
Yeah.
now
Uh-huh.
that are wonderful to say because our kids are hearing this.
Oh, absolutely. Linda, feel free to jump on in anytime you'd like, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? One of the lessons that I teach other people is when you look at the past and you look at the present, if you take the best of the past and the best of the present and combine them, you have the best of both worlds. You know, but I think because we live in a capitalistic society, and let's be clear, capitalistic societies are about money. They're not about people.
It's about money.
Okay, it's about money. So if you can get people to if you can misdirect people, if you can distract people with nonsense, then you can make the money, and you're over there with millions of dollars, and you want and everybody else, the 99% of wondering, well, why are we here and they there? Because they focused on the process of making money so that they can become millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, and be in a place financially that allows them to do, be, and have whatever they want. So we got to be real that in America, there's a lot of distraction. And there's a lot that keeps people from letting go of the past. And so if we keep stirring the poo-poo pot, then what happens is that's where we remain. Life gets all funked up, and we're wondering, well, why is my life so sucky? Well, because you're busy stirring the poo-poo pot. Okay, because
and not learning that lesson,
and not learning the lessons you need to be over there. See, but the 1% don't want you to learn and to do what they do, because then that would make them less wealthy. So you got to realize that you got to remove yourself from all of the distractions. You got to ignore the distractions. Stay away from people who are distractors, because there are a lot of people who come with what I call dark energy. There's a lot of, and I had this conversation.
And call you sis and brother.
And we'll call
tell
you
you
sister
I
and
love
brother,
you.
and tell you I love
With the
you. Call
hands.
you, hey sis, you know, but will stab you in the back faster than anybody you knew or know. So, you know, you got to understand, and that's one of the life lessons I've had. People are rarely who they want you to believe they are. And one of the things I tell young women, stop jumping in bed with guys because you feeling him or you feeling that person, whomever. Okay? Yeah, you can feel them all you want, but they feeling you too, but not the way you want them. And you're feeling them and giving them some ain't gonna make them love you, commit to you, and help build with you. So take the time to recognize, and you know what? I'm guilty. I did that when I was younger. I was feeling him. We was all up on the wall. I had wall burns on my knees. You know, I was feeling him. You know, and I was thinking he was like me. He wasn't. None of the men in my life were like me. None of them. None of them wanted what I wanted. No, none of them understood what I understood. And so none of the relationships ever worked. Take time to get to know who you are allowing into your sacred space. That's very important. And now people have gotten so good at faking it that you think they one person and they somebody else who doesn't mean you, whose intention is not good towards
That
you.
is true. Wolf in sheep's clothing.
Wolves in sheep clothing. I mean, wolves, half gorilla. That they have gone beyond just being a wolf. I mean, real monsters. Some of them are real monsters. Let's call it what it is. So we have to take the time to get.
But they come into our lives to teach us a lesson.
They come, because we don't know that they're a wolf or a monster. We don't know. We think they're like, stop thinking, if you're a good person, if you are a kind, giving, loving person, stop thinking that everybody is like you. It's not true. It's not true. And there's more monsters out there than there are loving, giving, caring, kind people. But they will fake it until they think you believe that's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So take your time to, I'm 68. If a man comes into my life now, honey, let me tell you, it's going to be 2 or 3 or 4 years before he gets some goodies. Okay, if at all, because I don't have so much goodies that at this point in my life, I can bypass it. Companionship is more valuable to me than anything else. But take the time to get to know who that person is, because they're not who you think they are. And so that's one of the most important life lessons we can learn. People are not who they want us to think they are. And unless you give yourself enough time, because see, people can't hide forever.
No.
Sooner or later, the monster comes out, or whomever the real person is comes out. Then you get to see. And stop giving people the benefit of the doubt. That's one of the things we do. Oh, well, I'm gonna give them, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give them a chance and blah blah blah. Go right ahead. But when they screw you real good, and you're crying and wondering why this happened to you, because you didn't take the time, you didn't value yourself enough to take the time to see through the mask and the costumes. People, they wear these fancy clothes, they're looking good, and they've got perfume, and they're smelling good, and they smiling, and all up in your face, making you think that they care about you. No, honey, those are the ones you want to stand back from and watch the closest, okay?
Yep.
Because there are a lot of people who just don't know who they are.
They don't.
And so they're trying to be something that they're not. And you never can be something that you're not. All you're going to do is create a monster within yourself. And then you wonder why your life is so miserable, why people don't like you, why people are staying away from you.
Or they get jealous when you're striving.
Or jealousy, let me tell you, they get the green-eyed monster is real, y'all. People will get jealous. People will get jealous because people like you.
They're just jealous because of your aura.
Yeah, they get, and because you're not gonna put up with their stuff. Okay, when they know that you can see them, let me tell you, one of the things, spiritual growth is so important. When I began to be able to see through people's masks and costumes, oh boy. When people know that you can see them, see the real them, they will stay away from you. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to run away from them. You just have to keep your spirit clean. That's so important. Clean spirit works wonders.
Yes, it does.
It works wonders, And at this point in my life, I've withdrawn from a lot of people. Maybe because I think the primary reason is I realized I needed to take better care of myself. And I'm in the process of doing that. The knee replacement I had on May 3rd. Okay, it's going to take a while. Healing takes a while. It doesn't happen overnight. Now, I kind of thought, in 2 months I'd be up and running. No, I'm walking around with a cane, and the left side of my left leg is numb most of the time. But someone who was at the meeting I went to this morning was saying she had both knees replaced, and that happens sometime. They have to go through nerves in order to replace your knee. And so she explained. So when I go to the doctor, I'm going to say, hey, I need to understand why the left side of my leg is numb most of the time. And it's a strange feeling. So, I mean, this is a new experience for me. I'm learning. I don't know. This is the first time I had a knee replacement. So I'm learning some lessons about this process because I have to have the right knee replaced too. But trust me, I'm not doing that anytime soon. This has been quite a painful experience, you know. But you know what? Everything we go through, we are designed to grow through. Seek to understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Why is this happening? You know, I know for the longest I couldn't bend my knee. I can bend my knee now. Even the movement, I had to go back in the hospital and they had to do another procedure to break up the scar tissue because I couldn't get my knee to move past 73 range of motion. When I was at the physical therapist on Wednesday, I got to 114. 120 is the norm. So, you know, I'm learning things about this process that I didn't have a clue about. But there's a saying, experience is the best teacher. Nobody could actually tell me about this particular procedure and process. And everybody is different. Like, it just so happens that I'm one of those people who built up thick scar tissue. I had no idea about that when I did the surgery. There were a lot of things I didn't know that I know now, you know. So, and that one knee, this knee could be a breeze. That both knees don't have to act the same way. So everything that we go through is designed for us to grow through. You know, what am I learning about this experience that will enrich my life? And we have to be open. See, a lot of people are not open to learning. They want what they want.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. Wouldn't we all like to have things happen the way we want them to happen right now? Right now.
But that's not the way God designed.
That's not the way the universe and human life was designed to be.
Yeah.
You know, the experiences bring us joy. Some of the experiences don't bring us joy, but we still learn that, okay, this experience was not a good experience. I don't want to repeat that experience. But some people go through the same experience over and over again. But that's because they didn't learn the lesson. Like with some of the relationships I had, I went through those same things, different people, same thing over and over again. Why? Because I didn't understand and nobody had told me certain things I needed to know to not repeat the same situations. But once it was when I decided that I was going to engage in spiritual growth for myself, that's when I began to learn about the lessons of life and the balance between the spirit and the physical self. And once you get that, it changes the whole scope of your life.
It does. It really does. However, are you ready for that spiritual? Because that comes with a lot of
Tears,
negative,
and it comes with a lot of
loneliness,
tears. I mean, I told somebody when I first started my journey to spiritual enlightenment, I think I cried through the first 3 years. I cried because things become evident that you had no understanding of.
Become very emotional.
You do.
You feel everything.
You feel everything, and you begin to see everything.
Yeah.
And the things you see are sometimes disheartening, very disheartening. And you're like, why is life like this? Why does it have to be like this? Why can't it be like this? But you learn through spiritual enlightenment why. The who, what, when, where, why, and how-tos of life. You learn.
That's true.
You know, and your life becomes more balanced.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we have to.
And you learn from those meanings.
We learn those meanings, exactly. You know, and one of the things I've learned is to pray for the wisdom to make good choices.
Mm-hmm.
I pray every day for the wisdom to make good choices. Because good choices just wrap you in an energy that feels good, no matter what's going on around us.
Mm-hmm.
There's an energy that makes you feel good, no matter what. So a lot of the depression and down times that people feel can be effectively dealt with a level of understanding of how the spirit and the physical self work together for our greater good.
A lot of it, that is true, but it's have a lot of battles too
Oh, absolutely.
between our physical self and our spirit because our physical self want this and our spirit want that. So there's a lot of battles. So a lot of people think they don't listen to the spirit anyway because they
No.
figure that's the wrong way. I'm living in the world, so this is what I'm gonna do of the world because this is what's trending right now. So it's really hard when it comes to spirituality and being of this world because it's a battle. And like you said, if you don't learn your lessons, you're gonna repeat these battles over and over.
And each battle gets harder.
And each battle gets harder.
So okay, it's almost like God said, okay, so you didn't learn that way. Okay, I'm gonna add this
Maybe you learn
to
this
see if
way.
you'll learn this way. Will you get it now? It's almost like a hammer plunks you in the head every time, and every time the hammer hits harder.
That is so true.
And all until you wake up
We learned that lesson.
and you learn that lesson. Oh my God! Wow! Now I get it. And until you get it, you get it. You know, you get it, and what you get ain't what you want.
That is true.
You know, so Linda, what other life lessons you would like to share that you think would help other people to enrich their lives?
Well, when I was one, the real good people in my life, my friend's mom, and sometimes, we take on things we sometimes need to. Because if I didn't have these three ladies in my life, I wouldn't know what to do with my kids because when she was 12, and so she had experiences that she had to learn life lessons. Have someone in your corner that will listen and help you. Like that saying, it takes a village. It was true on my part because I really
Absolutely.
didn't know how to be a mother like I should have. Those three strong women helping me out, I really would have felt hard. Lives don't take them for granted. True friends are hard to find. Like
Yes.
you said, there's a lot of, but the real ones you will see and you will feel them. Their vibes. They taught me how to spice to the food and taught me what to do. Just don't let this person out because not everybody's good for them. Because I was naive when I was young.
Oh, but
And
won't
so,
we all, girl?
lesson and life lessons we can instill it in each other and use that as a still our kids. Because like that saying, real recognize real.
Oh,
It's a
all the
lesson
time.
that helped me, and I encourage other people, if you have someone in your corner, reach out to people that you trust and that'll be there for yourself, so you have that lessons you need in life to keep pursuing your life and my kids or whoever that's in your life that needs that encouragement.
Oh, absolutely. And that was one of my life lessons I have on my little list. Loving friends are priceless and should always be cherished. I have friends from as far back as middle school. And some of them found me on Facebook and we've reconnected. Then I have friends from high school. My girlfriend Dory has a boutique. This top I have on, she sent it to me. It was, I think, a birthday gift or it was a gift that she gave me. I love it. I mean, we do for each other and we're there for each other. And we lost track of each other after high school, but we reconnected when we were in our 30s. And we have been inseparable ever since. She calls me, I call her. She and her husband still live in New York. And when I go to New York, she's one of the people I make sure that I see. I mean, I love her with all my heart. Like we had the same mother. Like the same mother gave birth to us. But you know what? The same world gave birth to us both. So that makes us sisters, And I think that when we recognize, and you're right, Linda, real recognizes real. Our spirits are constantly communicating with each other. But the challenge is a lot of people don't realize that that's happening. They're not consciously aware. And so, and if they get a little taste of something, like this, their intuitive senses are speaking to them, they disregard it. Why? Because we've been taught that intuition is frivolous. Don't believe in intuition, and so a lot of people don't believe. But let me tell you, the intuition is the voice of the spirit. And if you don't understand that, then the things that we need to pay attention to and the things we need to live our lives better will just escape us. And then we're wondering like, oh, damn, why my life is going this way.
I missed out on that lesson.
People miss out on that lesson, but you can believe every lesson you need is going to come back at you. Until you get it, So every day I'm like, okay, God, what's the plan for today? Are there any lessons I need to learn for today? And I get the messages I need for that day. And sometimes I'm like, okay, God, what do I do today? What's on the agenda for me today? Sometimes God will say, not a thing. Rest. See, God knows what's going on with our bodies and when we need rest and when we need to be still.
And that lesson will come to you without you having to go up and get it.
Absolutely. It comes to you. So I told people, I pray, which is the time I spend talking to God, and I meditate, which is the time I shut up after I finish talking to God and let God talk to me every day, sometimes all day, And now that I don't have to be at a job, I can pay more attention than I did because I had a very fast-paced, very busy job. So I didn't have time. And by the time I got home, I was so tired. All I wanted to do was eat and lay back and just relax. I wasn't into doing spirit work then. But had I been into doing spirit work then, maybe some things that I missed could have taken me along a different path.
But that's the younger version.
That's the younger version of me.
We come into that. But once we get older, we start realizing, okay, I have to start listening to this. Absolutely. Because it's a lesson that I got to learn from this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Carmen. And you know what? I think one of the things, people are so busy trying to impress other people that they lose sight of themselves. And one of the lessons I've learned, stop trying to impress other people and impress yourself. So I'm into impressing myself these days. I like it. I get more kicks out of impressing myself than I used to trying to impress somebody else. But you know what? My years of trying to impress other people was based on the fact that my self-esteem wasn't where it needed to be at the time. I grew up in a very dysfunctional household as a child. There was never any loving support. I never heard no one ever said they loved me. When I was a kid, I never heard anyone say, I love you. I never had anyone to guide me in ways that were supportive and nourishing and helpful. And so when I became an adult, I had to find all these things. I had to find out all these things for myself. And believe me, it was a process of trial and error. Sometimes I got it right. Most times I got it wrong. I had to go and do it again. Say, okay, that didn't work, or I'm not feeling that. But I didn't realize that was the spirit not feeling that. I was like, I'm not feeling that. That somehow that didn't work, or it didn't feel good, or whatever. So it's important that we stop trying to impress everybody, because one of the things I learned about trying to impress other people is every time you think you done got to that point of being able to impress them, they flip the script on you. They change the whole process.
Yep.
And now you got to start all over again trying to impress them because they're going to keep you locked into trying to impress them. So I encourage everyone who's listening, everyone who's watching, practice impressing yourself and feeling good about yourself. It doesn't mean you have to be, narcissistic or so into yourself that nobody else is important. We're all important. We're all important, and we're all important to each other. And so if you disavow the importance of somebody else, then you lose track of your own importance. We're here to learn from each other, to grow with each other, to hold each other up, to support each other, to love, to truly love each other. And no matter what, my life could have taken a whole different path because of my childhood. But I decided, like I said to the ladies this morning, at 19, I decided I was not going to live the same life as an adult that I lived as a child. Now, I didn't know what I needed to do. So everything became, again, a process of trial and error. And then I did a lot of reading, and one of the things that I did that I think really set the tone for my spiritual growth is I went to one day, I had had a hysterectomy, and I had just gotten out of the hospital the day before. I could just barely walk. I was still moving like a snurtle. But the Spirit had me get in my car. I drove all the way downtown. At the time I was living in New York, Broadway, to Barnes and Noble on Broadway. I think it was 83rd or 83rd, between 83rd and 82nd Street, I think it was. And I got on the escalator to go up. And as I got to the top of that escalator, I looked over to the far right, and there was a section that said self-help. I went to that section, and I just started pulling out books. And one of the books I pulled out was by Marianne Williamson, entitled A Woman's Worth. And that book made me realize that while I was connecting to everybody else, I was disconnected from myself. I didn't even know me. I didn't have the caliber of connection with myself that helped me to understand myself, helped me to understand my gifts, my talents, my abilities, and to grow in those gifts, talents, and abilities. That's the only book I bought that day. So I had read half of the book. I sat and read half of the book right there in the library. I bought the book, took it home, finished it. It helped change my life. So, whatever it is we're looking for, we got to set out to discover. We have to set out to discover. We have to set out to discover us, ourselves. And that's just a matter of going within ourselves and taking the time with ourselves. Everybody, I watch people, everybody's caught up in a group. Everybody hanging out, everybody's part of a group.
I think I'm the only one that's not.
And everybody,
my dogs.
Everybody, there's a group here, group A, group B, group C, group D, and so forth and so on. But how many of those people are spending time just with themselves? Quality time, not just 20 minutes here, or I'm going to get my nails and my toes done. Quality time, going inward, closing your eyes, shutting out the outside world, and going within yourself. How many people do that? Because they're so busy in their groups trying to impress each other without understanding they're disconnected from themselves.
Not learning the life lessons.
Not learning the life lessons they need in order to feel that level of peace of mind and happiness that we were all born into this world to experience. But there's too many distractions, too much dysfunction, just too much going on that does not support positive growth, development, and love. And I tell people love is the ultimate superpower. If you can love yourself totally, you can love other people. Even if you have to love them from a distance. Because there's some people, I love them with all my heart. I don't like them. You know, God said we are to love each other. He didn't say we have to like each other. Because there are a lot of people who have very unlikable traits, unlikable personalities. Why? Because they have not done the caliber of spiritual work that clear out the garbage from their inner selves.
Or learn their own life lessons.
And see, but you can't really learn your life lessons until you clear out the garbage that's blocking your ability to learn those lessons.
But there are people out there that carry that.
Oh yeah.
And then they come across you and they want you to figure it out for them, in a sense of asking you, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
And still don't take that advice.
And exactly.
And still don't. Yeah, exactly.
You talk to them and they're like, that's not what I want to hear.
Let me tell you, when I got the call from God, the calling from God, I said, well, God, once I got to a show, I said, well, how do I get people to believe that you have given this to me? Where do I find the people to help share this with? He said, I will send them to you. Mm-hmm. I don't have to go looking for people. Because I find that people just naturally, when they're ready, see, you had to be at a certain level for God to even send you to me. Once you are at a certain level, we can communicate. You understand what I'm saying. But if I'm speaking French and you speaking Spanish and neither one of us can understand each other, well, that's a waste of time and energy. And one of the things I've learned as I've aged and reached this age of 68, time is my most valuable commodity. I don't want to waste any more time. I realize how much time I have wasted on things that made no sense and had no real value.
Again, life lessons.
Again, life lessons. And so no matter what our age is, there are life lessons.
A lot of life lessons.
A lot of life till you take your last breath. But you got to be open-minded. You got to have an open heart. And you've got to be willing to embrace these lessons, learn from those lessons, and then be ready to earn the blessing. Mm-hmm. Because people want the blessing, but they don't want to learn the lesson. They want to fight it. They're pissed off. They're pissed off because they don't have no money. They're pissed off because they don't have a house that they want to live in. They're pissed off because they ain't got this fly car like the neighbor got. They're just pissed off. You know, I run into a lot of people who have pissed off energy, you know, and it's like, wow, you know, and I don't try and change anybody. That's not my job. Salvation and transformation is God's job. Mm-hmm. I stay in my lane. My job is to love. And I like loving people and being loved back. And these are the people I have in my life now, are people who love me and I love them. And we
will respect you enough to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. We listen to each other because we seek to grow and elevate and become better members of the human family and do what it is we're here to do. Yep. And which can be very hard, but through spiritual growth, you get to see everybody. I can see everybody for who they really are. Not who they want you to believe they are, for who they really are. That's another reason why most people don't see me anymore. Because I don't want to see all of the evil, all of the dark energy. I don't want to be a part of it. I enjoy my peace and my happy. I enjoy it so much that, you know, I don't want it broken by people who are broken, who don't want to repair themselves, or because brokenness can be repaired, okay, but only through spiritual means, you know. And I always tell people, you know what, at one point I went to a therapist and she was a very good therapist, and she didn't do a lot of talking. She let me talk because everything I needed to get out was in here and she wanted me to get it out. And I tell people, find someone who is a therapist from a spiritual perspective, because most therapists are therapists from a book perspective.
Yes.
It may not relate to you. Mm-hmm. That therapist has got to be able to see you, hear you, in order to help you. And so I don't want a therapist who's only coming at me from a book learning perspective. I want them to see my soul. I want them to see me. I want them to understand me
And hear you.
and hear me and trust enough that I'm able to take part in my own healing process. But we all have to be open and willing to be a part of our own healing prospect. But true healing takes place in the spirit, because that's where the damage has been done in most cases.
I'm sure.
You know, uh, Linda,
Yes.
share some more life lessons with us. I'm loving your accent, so I just want you to talk.
You know, sometimes people don't have, you can, back in the day, as therapy's come a long way, they're pressing it more, but sometimes you'll be okay. Nobody thinks, you're just going through stuff, and they don't
Mhm.
get help. And sometimes your therapy came from a friend, or from you
Absolutely.
had to, yeah, you
We're
come
all
from
having
friends.
Yes.
we're all having therapy right now.
That's right.
Definitely. And the thing about it is can afford to go to therapy also. You know, you think about all the things that a lot of people's up in Dallas. We was we lived in Oak Cliff, and that they consider Oak Cliff the hood, and there's hood, and then there's blue collar.
Linda, did we lose you?
I think so.
I think we lost Linda. Yeah. Well, if you're listening and you'd like to share a life lesson that has enriched your life, feel free to give us a call at 888-304-4401. That's 888-304-4401. We'd love to hear how your life lessons have enriched your life. And, one of the things I tell people to do, insist on being your amazing and authentic self. You know, uh, faking, you know, faking does nothing for enhancing your life. You know that saying, fake it till you make it? Oh, heck no. Get rid of that saying.
And if you are yourself, and for the people that are out there that didn't even bother to take the time to get to know you, once they do, oh my goodness, that lesson for them is like a slap on the face.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they want to be, oh,
You're
Carmen, you're the best, you're awesome, and I'm so happy that you're still in my life. And I'm like, yeah, thank God.
Hell, you know what? And a lot of times, once they realize how awesome you really are, they'll hold on so they can suck you dry. They don't want to do the work themselves. Okay, a lot of people don't want to do the work, and I can understand. If I had known what I was going to go through when I began my spiritual enlightenment process, I don't know if I would have done it. I'm very glad that I did, because it has taken me to a place that I never imagined. I'm in heaven on earth. And I tell people, both hell on earth and heaven on earth is a state of mind that graduates to a state of being. Then it becomes an absolute way of life. But you got to earn that.
Yep.
You got to earn it. If you're not willing to do the work,
And when you do earn it, people want to tap into it. They
That's
want to
right.
go into and like suck you in and say, oh, now I want what you have.
I want what you have. How did you do that?
Mhm.
All the time you're trying to bring them on and they didn't want to.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you get to where they want to be, they just want to be there. They don't want to do the work that you had to do to get there. And that's one of the downfalls I realize that a lot of people go through. Nobody can do it. let me tell you, God has created it so that you cannot piggyback into heaven on earth. Now, somebody can get you into hell on earth. A lot of folks, hell on earth is a freebie. Everybody can get there, okay? Yep. And everybody can piggyback you into heaven, hell on earth, if that's what you allow yourself to do. You know, like you could be in a situation that makes you miserable. Well, somebody either took you there or you allowed somebody to take you there. But you have the power to get the heck out of there.
That's true.
But a lot of people don't know their own power. They don't know how to connect to the power of God in order to free themselves from the drama, the trauma, the craziness, the BS, all the stuff that is a dark energy producer. And because they don't know, they become sucked in and ultimately devoured. And then they wonder how the heck they got there. Well, spiritual enlightenment is designed to keep you from getting there. And if you're there, helps you to get out of there. Yep. But you got to do the work. And let me tell you, that's the hardest work. There's nothing I've done that's harder than to do the daily spiritual enlightenment work that I do every day and have done for the last 20 years. Actually, it's about 22 now. Okay. And I understand I have to do it every day. You know, you're never there totally. The work continues. If you've been blessed with another day of life, the work continues. You just got to tap in and understand what it is you need to do that day for yourself or someone else. You know, and I told people, God had never told me to get no money to a church per se. If he wants me to tithe, he knows what I have at all times. And that's how I tithe. If I have money, I've had money, and I've had God tell me to give somebody money, and I've done it. I've had other things that wasn't necessarily money, but time. And time is one of the most valuable things we can give to anybody. Time is one of the most valuable and precious things we can give to anybody. And so right now, I don't have no extra money anymore. I don't have no extra money. You know, I don't know, God knows. I said, thank God knows I don't have no money right now. So God has me give time. You know, when I go on Facebook and I put the love lessons on our page, or I respond to somebody who reaches out to me, God guides me to spend the time because that person may need it. Now, also God tells me if I'm not supposed to connect to somebody, because a lot of people reach out to me. A lot of people, I've had to delete and block people on Facebook, particularly guys. I've stopped accepting friend requests from men, because as soon as I accept the request, here they go in Messenger with the BS. And I'm like, are they kidding me? I'm like, and then when I tell them how old they are, oh my God, you're so beautiful. You don't look like you're anywhere that yeah, okay. But guess what? I am. Goodbye. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know when somebody is trying to flim-flam you, you know, because they have an ulterior motive. You know. Yep. So you do what you have to do. You know, sometimes I see how far somebody's gonna go until I've had enough. Then I block, delete, block, keep it moving. I'm telling you, I'm not amused. You know, so you gotta know who to allow into your life, who not to allow into your life, and if someone comes into your life, how long? How long do you allow that person? Are they there for a lesson, a season? Are they there for a lesson, a season, a blessing? What are they there for? You got to understand that. Once we understand that, it takes us to a whole different place and space with respect to how we interact with one another. You know, I mean, I have a lot of people in my life who are there for the rest of my life. They're going to walk this journey with me for the rest of my life. And I love it. But they're all loving people, God-centered, loving people. God has never said, I want that person with that dark energy over there to be in your life for the rest of your life. No, God said, I want you to see that dark energy and remove yourself from it. That's it. So once you have that direct connection to God, you know, because in the spirit realm, there are a lot of voices in the spirit realm. You got to know which one of those voices is God. Because every voice speaking to you ain't God. Okay? So you got to know, once we know what voice is God, then we know the who, what, when, where, why, and how to's of our movement. But that, again, spiritual enlightenment, that's what it does for you. And until we are willing to grow and become who we were designed, created, and born into the world to be, because we can't demonstrate God's goodness and glory if we're schmucks. It just doesn't happen that way. You know, so you've got to get it together. We've got to get it together. We've got to become our authentic selves, not the self that we're trying to emulate in order to impress other people, in order to be accepted by other people. And that's one of the problems with a lot of people. People with low self-esteem, they're busy trying to be accepted by other people. And that's sad. Because you know what? When you're struggling to be accepted by other people, the spirit of that person knows they can control you.
Yes.
And be a leech.
And be latch on, and you know, you will be busy trying to impress and get in and fit in for the rest of your life with the wrong folks. And then you wonder why your life is the way it is. Well, because you've not done the spiritual work in order to get to a place where, number one, you have peace of mind. Once you have peace of mind and happiness, and nothing outside of yourself is predicated on that peace and happiness, oh my God. There
exists outside of that.
Everything outside is just something. You know? And once we understand what that something is, we know how to interact. We know what to do. We know what moves we may have to make. So life is, you know, a continual process of living and learning right up until you take your last breath. Right up until we take our last breath. And so we have to be open to that process and then allow ourselves to be the authentic human beings that we were created to be. A lot of people don't do the work. Most people don't do the work. That's why the world is in the condition it's in. Because everybody's trying to fake it till they make it. And walking around like big phonies. And that's the reality. And whether a person who's watching likes that or not, look, I'm going to always speak truth. Now, it's my truth from my place of spiritual enlightenment and understanding. And once other people get to where I am, they have the same. I have people who say the same things to me that I understand. I'm like, wow. So that's one way of understanding where people are on the spiritual growth scale. You start talking the same language.
Yeah.
And you understand each other so readily and so easily. And it feels good once you connect to people who are on the same page with you, in spiritual alignment with you. It just feels good. And most of the time, I don't have to leave my house anymore. Because I got folks in my life who come to my house and see if I cook, especially if I cook some bread pudding.
Yes.
You know? I know how to get people. I know how to get the right people in my house. All I got to do is cook a certain thing, you know. I know who likes what. And if I want them at my house, all I got to do is pitch that meal, put it on Facebook, here they come. So, you know how to, and then it gives me joy to do things for people. I love to cook, and I'm a great cook. If I had good knees, I'd probably go into a restaurant somewhere and ask the chef, can I work here? You know, I mean, I can teach you some stuff. But, you know, it is what it is, you know, and this is my time to rest and to teach. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm getting used to resting, teaching, and healing. Because right now, this knee is still healing. It's going to be a while before it gets to where it needs to be. So I have to be patient. Patience is also a superpower. You got to learn to be patient. And
I'm
it's
learning that.
Yeah.
I don't have patience. I swear. My grandma's always, you need to learn patience. Now, I am calm.
yeah,
It works.
it works.
Patience.
The more patient
Yeah.
you are, the more you are able to understand life and be okay with the process of life. Now, I don't have to have this right now, but if I know it's coming, I can wait.
Yeah.
I want it when it's ready. I don't want it that's like giving somebody a half-baked cake. You want the cake when it's ready.
Yep.
You know, so I want whatever God has in store for my life when it's ready, when it's time, not before. Because let me tell you, everything I tried to rush, I got in trouble. I got myself in trouble rushing stuff, trying to make it happen now when it wasn't designed to happen now.
Everything in its time.
Everything in its time. And I just wanted to, as we come close to the end of our program today, I copied something that I saw on Facebook that I think hopefully all of you will process, digest, and use to enhance the quality of your life. This is a lesson. This is the last lesson for the day. It reads, reset, restart, refocus. A new beginning does not have to occur on New Year's Day, a new month, or the morning of a new day. It only has to occur in your mind. Mindset is very important. The quality of your mindset is very important. Your morning may have been bad, but the rest of the day can be great. You may have made a mistake, but you can refocus and learn from it. You may have been on the wrong path, but you can restart your life and get on the right path. You can push the reset button in your mind at any moment in time. You just need, yeah, it is. It really, we can reset ourselves. We're designed to be able to do that. Our minds are like computers. We can reset them and become just the awesome, peaceful, loving, giving, kind, grateful people that we were created to be. Those are all attributes of God. The more attributes of God we demonstrate, the more power God gives us. Oh, I think, here comes Jane. Okay, let's see. Where is the answer? Hey, Jane.
You should have hit the speaker button.
Oh, okay. Hold on, Jane. Where's the speaker button? That it? Right there. Jane? One missed call. Okay. See, I haven't been in the studio for a while, so I got to relearn all this stuff. That's why I'm going to come into the studio at least once a month, and I got my crew with me, where we can continue to talk on this level, just straightforward from our hearts, with a new mindset whenever we come in, and a topic that hopefully each of you will be able to learn something from. Okay.
Hit the speaker.
That's Jane. Okay. Speak. Hello. Hey, Jane.
Hello, ladies. By the way, you're all looking quite lovely today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you call to share a life lesson with us?
I did, but I actually just wanted to piggyback on something you said earlier about how it is difficult to work on your own spiritual self every day. But what I find interesting about that is, isn't it crazy how we can always take the time to help someone else? When it comes to ourselves, it is more work and harder, right?
Yeah, but Jane, that's a process of conditioning. We have to recondition ourselves.
Learn to teach ourselves.
Yeah, we have to reset.
Mhm.
We have to push the reset button, just as this statement I just read, and say, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to do this way. And I know that at this point in my life, I really have to take better care of myself. So I have to stay focused on what I need to do, setting boundaries for everybody else and limitations for myself so that I can take care of myself.
So basically, we have to unlearn to learn.
No, I agree. I agree. That's what I wanted to just say. As far as life, I should tell Paul, I'm an old dog, and I know I still got a lot of life lessons learned. And all the younger women that come into our lives, I learned so much from these younger ladies that we've been blessed to have in our lives. They've taught me a lot.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? They are not filled with the crap that we grew up with. They are from a whole new generation who have a different mindset about themselves and life and how they want to live it. And so, look,
Carefree.
we can learn from everybody, young
That's
and the old,
Right?
the male and the female,
That's right.
Exactly.
and no matter what culture, no matter what color,
Religion.
what socioeconomic status, religion, we can learn something from everybody. If it's nothing more than, I need to get away from that person,
Right.
or, hey, that's somebody I'd really like to have in my life. But if we don't experience people, we don't experience things, we'll never know.
Right.
Yeah,
No, that's exactly right. But I
absolutely.
want to thank you all. I think you're doing a great show, very interesting. And listeners, call in and share your life.
Well, you know what? We're going to do this show once a month, and the other listeners, we've run out of time, so we want them to hold whatever thought they may have, and hopefully we can get people to call it in as we continue to do these caliber of shows.
Yes.
Right. Great.
Jane, thank you so
All right.
much, and we'll talk later. I'm gonna call you later.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Jane.
And on that note, I see that we have come to the 3:30 time, and I'm always about time these days. So we're going to say thank you to all of you who tuned in today. We hope you've learned something. Sorry we lost Linda at some point, but it was close. We had gotten close to the end. So
She back.
She
back.
Oh, she back. Hey, Linda, you back?
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you.
Linda, thank you.
Let me be a guest.
Oh, thank you for joining us and sharing the best of yourself with all of us. And we look forward to you doing it a little more as we go forward.
And I've enjoyed each and every one of y'all's conversation and your input as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you see, when we're sharing the love and we're sharing the knowledge with each other, we can all grow holding hands as we move up the spiritual ladder of life. So thank you all for joining today, and be sure to tell your friends about the Sistership Show on Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I think we're going to take a break for August. So until September, everyone have a great rest of the summer. Signing out.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. Bye, guys.
Bye.